As we look ahead to the winter of 2025-26, it's clear that this season is shaping up to be anything but ordinary. The atmosphere is already hinting at a winter that will keep us on our toes, with shifting patterns and unexpected twists. Whether you're a winter enthusiast hoping for snow days or someone who prefers milder weather, there's something in store for everyone this year. So, get ready for a season full of surprises. Now is the time to dig out your warmest coats, check your snow gear, and make sure your home is winter ready. The best way to face what's coming is to be prepared for anything, from icy blasts to unexpected warm spells. This won't be your typical winter. Expect sharp contrasts, with some regions shivering under blankets of snow while others enjoy stretches of unusual warmth and sunshine. The differences from place to place will be striking, and you might even see dramatic changes within the same week. The big story this year? We're entering a transitional season, beginning with the influence of La Niña, but with a significant shift expected mid-winter. This transition makes forecasting especially challenging, as the usual patterns may not hold. Meteorologists are watching closely, knowing that even small changes in the Pacific can ripple across the continent. That means weather patterns may not follow the usual script, so flexibility and preparation are key. It's a good idea to keep an eye on the latest forecasts, update your emergency kits, and have a plan for both severe cold and sudden thaws. Expect big swings in temperature. Deep freezes could be followed by rapid thaws, and you might see snow on the ground one day and green grass the next. These wild fluctuations can impact travel, school schedules, and even your daily routine. The storm track will be active but unpredictable, wobbling more than usual as it responds to shifting global patterns. This means storms could take unusual paths, bringing snow, rain, or even ice to places that don't typically see them. This winter is all about variability, reminding us that Mother Nature loves to keep us guessing. From blizzards to blue skies, and everything in between, you'll want to be ready for rapid changes and the unexpected. We'll break down what La Niña is, how it'll shape temperatures and precipitation, and why this midwinter transition matters for your region. Understanding these global forces can help you anticipate what's ahead and make smarter decisions all season long. We'll also look back at a similar winter from the past for lessons. What happened, how people coped, and what we can learn to better prepare this time around. History often offers clues about what to expect and how to adapt. The goal is simple: empower you with the knowledge and tools to be ready for whatever comes your way. Whether it's stocking up on supplies, making a family plan, or just staying informed, a little preparation goes a long way. So, grab something warm, settle in, and let's dive into the wild world of winter weather forecasting together. This season promises to be a memorable one, and we're here to help you navigate every twist and turn. Before we dive into the details of this winter's forecast, let's take a moment to talk about La Niña, the main driver behind the weather patterns we're about to see. La Niña is like the cool kid on the block, showing up every few years to shake things up and make its presence known across the globe. La Niña happens when sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean drop below average. This cooling might seem subtle, but it's powerful enough to shift global weather patterns, influencing everything from rainfall in South America to winter storms in North America. The ocean acts like a giant thermostat, and when it cools, the atmosphere responds in dramatic ways. One of the biggest impacts is on the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air high above our heads. During La Niña, the jet stream is pushed farther north than usual, which means it steers storms and cold air into the northern parts of the United States and southern Canada. This shift can change the entire mood of winter for millions of people. As a result, areas from the Pacific Northwest through the northern plains and into the Great Lakes often see colder temperatures and more frequent snowstorms. These regions can expect a winter that's not just chilly, but also packed with the kind of snow that makes for epic sledding and challenging commutes. Meanwhile, the southern tier of the country, from California to the Carolinas, usually experiences the opposite: warmer, drier conditions. This means less rain, more sunshine, and sometimes even drought concerns for places that rely on winter precipitation to fill reservoirs and water crops. This is the classic La Niña setup, a pattern meteorologists have come to recognize and rely on when making seasonal forecasts. It gives us a general roadmap for what to expect, helping communities prepare for what's ahead. But here's the twist: not all La Niñas are created equal. This year's La Niña is considered weak, which means its influence is less predictable. When the signal is faint, the atmosphere can go off script, leading to surprises that even seasoned forecasters can't always anticipate. Weak La Niña events tend to be less reliable, and this one isn't expected to stick around for the entire winter. As it fades, the atmosphere could shift gears, bringing unexpected changes to the weather pattern just when we think we've got it figured out. So, while the classic La Niña pattern gives us a starting point, this year's story is shaping up to be anything but straightforward. The interplay between ocean and atmosphere is complex, and a weak La Niña adds a layer of uncertainty that keeps meteorologists on their toes. The real wild card is what happens when La Niña fades mid-season. Will winter take an unexpected turn? That's the big question, and it's what makes this season so fascinating to watch unfold. So, how cold will it get? Expect a split. The north will be colder than average, especially the northern plains, Midwest and Great Lakes. Cold Canadian air will spill south more easily, so bundle up if you're in these regions. The south, from Arizona to Florida, will likely be warmer than normal, thanks to the jet stream keeping Arctic air at bay. The northeast and mid-Atlantic are the battleground. Expect wild swings with Arctic blasts one week and thaws the next. Forecasting here is tough, so be ready for anything. Remember, these are seasonal averages. There will still be warm days up north and cold snaps down south. The big picture, a winter of contrasts, with the dividing line shifting throughout the season. Use this outlook to prepare, but stay tuned for local updates as winter unfolds. Precipitation will also follow a north-south split, thanks to La Niña's influence on the jet stream. The north, especially the Pacific Northwest and Great Lakes, will see above-average precipitation, much of it as snow. Ski resorts and snowplow drivers, get ready. The south, from California to the Carolinas, will be drier than usual, raising drought concerns. The northeast and mid-Atlantic will see a mix. Snow, ice, or rain will depend on each storm's track. Forecasting here is tricky. A small shift can mean a major snowstorm or just rain. Some models hint at a late-season moisture return to the south, which is unusual for La Niña. This potential pattern flip adds even more unpredictability to the precipitation outlook. Here's the real twist. This winter is kicking off under the influence of a weak La Niña. That means at first we'll see some of the classic La Niña signals: cooler and wetter conditions in the Pacific Northwest, and drier, warmer weather in the south. But don't get too comfortable with these patterns. By the time we reach the heart of winter, most weather models are pointing to a significant shift, moving away from La Niña and into an ENSO neutral phase. This transition is a big deal, because it means the atmosphere is losing its strong guidance from the Pacific, and things can get unpredictable fast. When the ENSO phase changes mid-season, it's like pulling the rug out from under the weather. The established patterns start to break down, and new, sometimes chaotic, ones can emerge. This is when forecasters start to see wild cards in the outlook. The jet stream, which acts like a highway for storms, can suddenly become erratic, meandering north and south or even splitting into separate branches. Storm tracks that were once predictable may veer off course, bringing rain, snow, or dry spells to places that weren't expecting them. As a result, the first half of winter could look and feel very different from the second half. You might experience a season that feels split in two, with a noticeable change in weather patterns as the months progress. For example, the south might start off dry and mild, only to see a sudden uptick in rain and storms later in the season. This could impact everything from agriculture to travel plans, as communities adjust to the changing conditions. Meanwhile, the north could begin with cold temperatures and frequent snow, but as the ENSO neutral phase takes hold, those wintry conditions might ease, leading to milder weather and fewer snow events than expected. This internal conflict in the forecast, the tug-of-war between La Niña and ENSO neutral, is a direct result of the phase transition. It's what makes this winter so challenging to predict and so fascinating to watch unfold. We can't just look back at past La Niña winters for answers. This year, the script could be completely flipped, with surprises in store for regions that usually follow a set pattern. So, expect a winter that starts one way and ends another. The landscape could transform dramatically from December to March, keeping everyone on their toes. There's real potential for unusual storm tracks, rapid temperature swings, and even extreme weather events that catch people off guard. The variability could be higher than usual, making it a season to watch closely. The uncertainty is high, but so is the potential for dramatic weather, Think sudden snowstorms, unexpected thaws, or heavy rain events. This is the kind of winter that can make headlines and challenge even the most seasoned meteorologists. That's why this winter demands close attention. Staying updated on the latest forecasts will be key, as conditions could change quickly and without much warning. Whether you're planning a trip, managing a farm, or just trying to stay warm, this is a season where being prepared and flexible will make all the difference. The polar vortex is a key player in northern cold outbreaks. When stable, it keeps Arctic air locked up, but if it weakens, frigid air can plunge south. This winter, early signs point to possible disruptions. Stratospheric warming events could destabilize the vortex. That opens the door for major Arctic outbreaks, especially in the Midwest and East. Other climate signals, like the Arctic and North Atlantic oscillations, may also favor cold air surges. These short, intense cold snaps can define a winter, breaking records and straining power grids. The combination of a wobbly polar vortex and a shifting ENSO pattern makes for a dynamic, unpredictable season. Watch for the potential of one or more major cold snaps, especially later in winter. The second half of winter could be the wildest part. Some models show a surge of moisture into the south and east in January and February, thanks to the ENSO transition. If this moisture meets a blast of Arctic air, we could see major snow and ice storms, even in places that rarely get them. This is the classic setup for nor'easters and blockbuster winter events along the East Coast. The first half of winter may be quiet, but don't let your guard down. Late-season storms could be severe. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic could see more snow if southern moisture increases. The key message: this winter is likely to be a tale of two halves, with the finale potentially the most dramatic. Stay alert as the season progresses. Things could change fast. To understand what's possible, let's look back at the winter of 1985 to 86, a close match to this year's setup. That season started with a weak La Niña and shifted to neutral midwinter, just like we expect now. It wasn't brutal start to finish, but a sudden polar vortex disruption brought record-breaking cold to the east and south. Even places like Georgia saw all-time lows, showing how a single event can define a winter. The lesson: transitional winters can deliver extreme, short-lived cold snaps, even if the season overall is mild. History reminds us to be ready for the unexpected. So, what's the bottom line? This is a winter to take seriously. The combination of a fading La Niña, a shifting jet stream, and a wobbly polar vortex means high uncertainty and high impact. Don't be complacent. Prepare for surprises, whether you're in the north, south, or the battleground in between. Use this outlook as your strategic guide, but rely on local forecasts for day-to-day planning. Make sure your home and car are ready, and have a way to get weather alerts. Even the south should be ready for rare cold snaps. The dynamic transitional pattern means we must expect the unexpected. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll get through this unpredictable winter together.